In the depths of a dark forest, in isolation from the bustle of the world, lived old Richard. About 70 years ago, he chose this place for his refuge and, rejecting the bustle of the city, found peace in a lost house. In his isolation, he was able to find harmony with himself and gained the ability to dive into the depths of his soul. Richard had many worries around him, which he deliberately ignored. He got rid of the need to be in society, get away from everyday stress, and suppress the anxiety that visited him in a cramped urban space. Over the years, Richard has witnessed the miracles that happen when we leave our past and begin to find ourselves. He spent his days, despite any weather, building a dense world around him from his thoughts and fantasies. In such solitude, the old man plunged into the very depths of his soul, and all his thoughts painted the surrounding nature, becoming parts of its color palette. A true transformation took place in Richard's world, in which every red petal or green leaf had its own piece of magic. The years passed, and Richard remained steadfast in his hermit life. His world was full of deep understanding and tenderness. He began to realize that his deepest inner self would never disappear as long as he was true to himself. Every dawn reminded him of the beautiful symphony written by time in his soul. One evening, Richard was sitting near the fireplace when a young woman appeared on the threshold of his house in tears. She told a story of loss and hopelessness that came from deep within her soul. Richard, experiencing the bitterness of this woman, realized that the cry of her soul would become his source of inspiration. The old man was gradually at the heart of each paragraph. His story, swaddled in the depths of his consciousness, blossomed into Palna. The magic of his words captured the readers and turned them into participants in their own journey into the depths of themselves. Richard's story about the woman was a divine touch that had the power to change the origins of their own grief. Thus, Richard's life and his precious texts became symbols of overcoming and salvation for all those who were lost in their own souls. He showed that the journey back to ourselves is the beginning of a new life, and that perhaps each of us can find our salvation simply by looking deeper within ourselves.